Hello there, everyone. This is going to be episode 22 of the Astroneer series. That's not what for those of you who haven't watched my videos before, that's not what I sound like. Anyways, I apologize for that, but I don't apologize so hard that I'm going to redo the intro there. So yeah, in this one we're going to be making a flat surface, just like the one you see before you. It's a beautiful thing, is what it is, and it's beautiful because we can build sort of larger bases that have much more components like what we have here, and keep it all still looking quite neat, right? And then we can go even further and have like our storage area and stuff like that. You can do whatever you need, make it look nice, have the ground perfectly flat, have everything confined in certain limits. It's nice, and so we're gonna try to do that. And the way we do that is with something called true flat. Now, I'm going to go to a new location, obviously, and build a new flat area for this. So that's where most of the explaining is going to be done. But before we leave this location, I just want to explain very briefly what true flat is, because I kind of have to like balance this out, right? I don't want to go too in depth on true flat because some of you already know how it works, but also I can't just say nothing about it because you have to know a little bit. Basically, in Astroneer, there is a way to get a perfectly flat surface like this that you can just extend from with your terrain tool, right? You can just use your drill to make it perfectly flat. And so once you get that flat surface, you can do that, but that flat surface isn't necessarily going to be level with the ground. The only locations where you can get a perfectly flat surface level with the ground is near these gateways right here, right? So just get as close to one of these as you possibly can, and there you go. That's how you make your true flat base level with the ground. You're welcome. But yeah, as I said, most of the explaining is going to be done at another gateway, because that's where we have to build these, right? On a gateway, on top of a gateway. You don't have to build it on top, but I like doing that because that's technically the best, and also it's just nice because it's a sky base. Literally, we just have a sky base. And so the next gateway in the direction I'm facing is where we're going to do this. And so, like I said, I'm just going to do most of the explaining there. However, I will say right now what we need to bring with us, because you do want to know what we need to bring with us. First things first, couple soil canisters. You can do just one, I guess, or even more. But we want a bunch of soil, so I'm going to use the same soil canisters over and over again for us to build the surface with, and then take a medium soil canister just like this that I can refill those with, right? And so that's how that's going to work for me. Then we want to have something a little more precise than the normal drill, right? If you're anything like me, you have a wide mod, boost mod, drill mod 1. It's kind of what you just carry around normally. We can take those with us in case we need them, of course, but that's not what we want to have for most of the time. Actually, the boost mod we will keep. We want a smaller drill because, as you can see, if you want to do a perfect corner like this, which maybe you don't really care that much about all that, but if you do want to get a perfect corner like this, which is what I'm going to be showing in this video, you know, you want a smaller drill. So we're going to be taking the narrow mod, which, as you can see, makes my drill very small. We can make fine adjustments with that and make things look just like what we have here. But yeah, we're going to load up the narrow mod. We're going to take an inhibitor mod, which prevents you from mining soil. I will go ahead and demonstrate that as well. You just can't mine soil, right? You can't mine soil with the inhibitor mod, and you can't build soil with the inhibitor mod. You can paint it, though, which is what I'm going to go over next. The default placement color for soil is gray, as you see here, right? We don't want this to be gray necessarily. I like mine being colored like this. I make it look like dirt with grass on top of it, which is cool. Make my bases look like Minecraft bases. It's kind of weird, but I like it. Anyways, the way we get a specific color is with the terrain analyzer, right? So the inhibitor mod lets us paint soil by trying to build up on it. That's what makes us paint it, right? But if we also have the terrain analyzer, we can get whatever color we want. And the way you get that color is by finding that color in the wild, right? And then mining it while your terrain analyzer is empty until it fills up kind of like a soil canister. And so yeah, I want the dirt color because I'm going to be doing that in the bottom, and the green one because we're going to do that on top. Obviously the inhibitor mod because we want to be able to paint some, but I'll get into all these details later. For now, just know that that's what you're going to need. And also a leveling block, but you can craft those on the fly if you have it unlocked, because it just takes a soil canister of soil to craft, and then it just takes the soil out of it and gives you the canister back. So we can craft those on the fly, but I'm just going to take one because I already have it. And yeah, I don't know if you'll need anything else other than just these things. Pretty sure that's all you need. Again, a couple soil canisters, everything you see right here. Not necessarily the, these, but we're going to take those. And if you do end up needing anything else, I guess I'll just put that on screen right now so you don't have to worry about that. Oh my goodness, we have arrived. We are here, and as you can see, I've already laid a little bit of groundwork, which is what I recommend, right? I recommend you do have a landing pad, right? Because then you can use your rocket to get here and from your other bases like this if you want, instead of having to fly back and forth like this every single time. And obviously, yeah, I'd recommend you have this, or at least jetpack, so that you can go, you can get back up if you fall and all that good. But yes, what's the basis for this, right? What are we going to be doing? Well, we have to build up a little bit off of this, right? We have to build up a little bit just like this. It didn't work. It's not working. Trying to build up, but it won't. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we just build up off of it because we cannot place the leveling block straight on it like this. We have to build off of some soil, and so that's what we're going to do. And so, yeah, like I said, we just get a perfect cube like this. Boom. It's beautiful. It's great. It's gorgeous. And so we can use this cube to build off of it just like so. But we, again, want the narrow mod because we want this to be more sculpted right, and I'm going to get into that in a little more detail right now. Anyways, yes, we get this perfect cube, and by this point, things are probably feeling a little redundant for those of you who have been watching the entire series, but I will say that things are going to get a little different on down the line. It's going to be mostly the same, it is, but I have to build this flat area, and I can't just not upload while doing it, so there's going to be a little bit of redundancy here, but there are a couple things that I do differently than normal in this video. Because, again, I learned things from the last one. But yeah, we'll try to be brief with the parts that are repeats, such as the one I'm about to go over right now, right? We can do 2 different layers, just like this right here. We will have a top layer, right? And it's perfectly thin. That's how true flat works. It's perfectly thin, but I think that looks stupid. Long story short, I think that looks stupid. So I'm going to do a bottom layer as well. Yeah, long story short, I think it looks stupid with like a single perfectly thin layer. So I'm going to be making this kind of shape, right? All the way across, but it's going to be hollow. It doesn't have to be like solid like that. It just looks solid because I used the leveling block. Yeah, just do a hollow, like sort of, yeah, that, instead of just having a perfectly flat area. And so, we build up from the bottom like this, and what you'll notice is that, you know, if we build the bottom, right, and then we build the top, we can't reach the bottom anymore to paint it. So we want to make sure that the bottom is placed painted for sure. I'd recommend you do the top the same way, but something different from what I said in the last video is that even though I'd recommend you paint the bottom and top while you're placing them, I recommend that you hold off on the sides, actually. So I'll explain what I mean by that later. But yes, just for now, just understand, you want to mark out the sort of size of an area you want right now. So this is actually, it's going to be a while, because it takes a while. Which is why another thing different from the last time I did this, boost mod, right? I took that off because I sort of just psychologically wrapped the boost mod and the wide mod into one category, because generally speaking, you just want to use them to mine soil faster, but it also lets you place soil faster, which is actually a genuine problem with this. This soil places so slow because it's small for some reason, and so you just need to, yeah, the boost mod like sort of helps with that. It does, because as you can see, it's really glitchy, doesn't really want to work sometimes, it's like flickering in and out of existence, but it does in fact help to have the power of the boost mod for some reason. And you can see this in creative too when you make your drill mine faster. It's a real thing. It's real. But yeah, I don't really know that there's anything else I can explain right now. Like I said, we'll paint the sides. We'll place the bottom painted. We'll place the second layer painted, which would be this layer. We'll place it painted green. The bottom one brown, top one green. And then, you know, the sides that we would fill in sort of like that. We want, you know, the top part to be green, the bottom part to be brown. We will paint that part after the fact. It doesn't matter what color it is. But for now, I'm going to place the bottom layer right now and time-lapse it, I guess, because I don't know what else I'm going to do. All right, and as you can see, we have gotten the bottom layer placed, which, you know, again, just supposed to represent dirt because, you know, it's brown, and so is dirt, which is very nice. And so this top layer, we're just going to do the same way, but on the top of what just happened. Take this off. Put that on. Okay, there we go. And so now the top layer we're just going to do the same way, but obviously off of the top of the leveling block instead. And so just make sure that this is the same size as the bottom layer. But again, don't worry about like filling in the sides yet. That'll be the last step. So we're just going to do the top layer just like this, all the way across, same size. Oh man, I'm finally done. What a good thing. What a beautiful thing indeed. Except actually I'm not done, because if you look over here, you realize that, like I said, we're leaving the sides out while we do that part. And as you can see, it's a little weird. And then the bottom, right, has those pieces coming down that we don't want to leave. But we'll deal with that last, actually. The very bottom part with those dripping down. Or maybe you can leave them if you think that it doesn't look too stupid. Because, like, you know, hey, it's the bottom supposed to look like dirt. Kind of looks like dirt's just dripping down, maybe you think. Could leave them, but I'll show you how to get rid of them. And so, but before that, we want to flatten out the sides. And something I want to say, do not flatten out from these. These are not true flat. If you look, they're not true flat. They're bumpy. We want to make our own thing, which means we got to be willing to do a little bit of damage to what we've got here so far. So we'll go grab ourselves a leveling block. Where'd I put it? Where'd I put it? Where'd I put it? Oh, it's over here. Anyways, yeah, like I said, we got to be willing to do a little bit of damage, but your best bet is coming off the side of one of these like that. That'll probably do the least amount of damage. So let's try to find a real nice, like, right in between, just like that. And I guess I didn't do any damage at all, so that's nice. So you can do it just perfectly fine like that, apparently. And it doesn't matter what color you use. So I'm just going to turn this off and use gray as a representation, because on this one, it's way faster for us to actually just color it after the fact, because basically we want a precise, meeting line, right? We want there to be a very precise amount of green and brown here at a very specific point. So trying to do that whilst placing is just weird. That's just how placing soil works in Astroneer. So we want to do that after the fact. But something I want to show you real quick is when you get to the corners here, right? You don't actually have to use the leveling block again. When you get to the corner like that, it usually makes like a little flat spot right up at the corners, right? Right here. This is not flat, I don't think, actually. I think this one wasn't flat. You got to kind of look at it. I don't know. Yeah, so it's not actually, well, yeah, I think it is. I think these very, very corners here are flat. So sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. Hoping that this one is, though. We'll just see. We're just going to try to build off of it. And it appears that that one was indeed flat. So I think that usually they are. They're usually flat right there on the sides, on the corner there. So that's how you can do that. And so I'm just going to finish this up and then show you the last step, which would be painting it and also clearing the bottom out. I keep falling off. All right, so I've got the sides finished there, and as you can see, it's kind of consistent, so I guess you could try to make it work, but a lot of the times it gets weird, so I just prefer to paint afterwards, and I think that's for the best, because if you try to just break it up and then replace it the color you want, it just ends up being more of a problem than a solution. Also, this part right here is being stupid, and I don't really know why. Yeah. Okay, that kind of fixed it. Anyways, yes, so now all we want to do is paint the edges, and again, that's going to take the inhibitor mod, and so we're going to go ahead and put that on, and we're going to use brown here because it seems like green is taking up most of it. So first we'll start with brown, try to get it just right. And so yeah, inhibitor mod, narrow mod, then the color you want. And so we're going to start near the bottom here and just sort of boom, just like that. See, that's the exact consistency I want. So just try to make sure you stay the right distance there to do that. And so also I would like to explain how we can get these parts off the bottom here, because as you can see, if I move my mouse down to get onto that, it makes my camera move, and it's like I can't keep it on there without like having to go below like this. And so if you try to use this method right here of just like looking down and trying to break it, even though it's trying to move your camera, what'll happen is you'll end up punching a hole in your monitor. So what I learned, what I figured out that you can do is that you can find your FOV bias, right? Just make it like that, you know, go crazy with it. And then you can see underneath really easily, and you can just wipe all of this away. Well, you got to turn your inhibitor mod off. Then you can just wipe all this away so fast, right? It's so nice. That is a game changer for this, because otherwise you just can't really. I mean, honestly, it's not even worth it otherwise. Yeah, use the increased FOV to do this. And also this increased FOV is also useful for painting it and also placing it like I just did, but I hadn't had it on for that yet. But it's not really necessary until you're doing this. And as you can see, it's just so much better. All right, as you can see, and of course it's got to be nighttime for this, I've done it now. And so that's a beautiful thing, because it means, again, we have another flat spot, just as big as our first one for our original base, that we can put Nanocarbon Alloy Factory on, and I think that's going to be enough room for it. Nanocarbon Alloy Factory 2.0 will definitely fit up here, I think. And so now, obviously, do not forget the landing pad, because that allows you to, again, not have to use a VTOL or jetpacks to get up here. And obviously, you can get here from longer distances and stuff. It's just a proper base once you set that up, and that's nice and beautiful. But yeah, I don't really think there's anything else to say, and so I reckon that means that I've said everything there is to say.